Dear students, I'd like to tell you the concept of stimulus object response. What do you mean by stimulus object response? There are three things involved. Stimulus is the kind of picture which we show you. Object is you who are going to perceive that stimulus, and response is what you're going to write about it. I repeat, stimulus is the picture we show you. Object is you who receives and understands that picture, and response is what you write. So stimulus object response is what is a general approach used in psychology, SOR, and that is very important because what we do is we give you a picture, you write a response, and in between we identify the character you are. So while you're writing this, if you are writing, if you're not expressing the kind of person you are, how you look at the picture, what is you're going to, because you know the way you look at the picture, your response will differ. You're getting the point? Suppose I show this mic to an elephant or to a tiger, what is it going to do? It's not going to speak on it, it's going to bite it. Because the tiger is seeing it like that. But when I look at it, I understand because I have a better understanding, so I know it's a mic. I don't have to bite at it. I have to speak from a distance, right? So what is this thing? Because I have a better understanding, so the stimulus is not creating a stupid response from me. And why is it not coming? Because there is no stupid person in me. If you take a small child also, initially you will find he will lick the mic. Because why? A small child is just in the habit of mother feeding. So what they do, they put everything you give them, they put it in the mouth. Right? So that happens. But when you are a sensible person, then you will automatically respond sensibly. So why am I responding differently? Because I am an object. So if I am a sensible person, my stimulus will create a relevant response from me. Is it clear to you? Let me elaborate this more so that you can understand this. Right, what do I mean by this is, when we show you a picture of an accident, right? And if you are a very matured and understanding person, so what are you going to do in that accident? You're going to rush and help. But if you are a person who's very emotional, very childish, what will you do? You will start crying. You will start calling others for help, but you will not go anywhere. So why have you done that? Because that stimulus, that accident, you being different, have created a different response. Is it clear or not clear? Similarly, if you find out generally simple girls who are living under the household and not coming out to the outer world, they certainly behave in a emotional manner, little more emotional manner than boys. But when boys who is regularly coming out or girls who are regularly coming out, they do not behave so. They behave in a sensible manner. There's an accident, let's go down, let's solve it. Yes or no? They do not start crying on me or just shouting. They're going to do something about it, right? So what is the leadership all about? Leadership is all about identifying the picture and acting rightly, not crying over it, not making an issue out of it, rather responding something rightly. Is it clear? Relevant response is going to make all the difference, and that is something which is very important. Now everything has different interpretation because we are different. You getting the point? We found an incident long back in Delhi. There was a Nirbhaya accident. What was that? There's a boy, 17 years old, and he not only mistreated with a girl, but he mistreated by putting an iron rod wrongly. Why? What was the problem? Because he was a juvenile. He had half thought. He had no cultural exposure. So when he had come down from his, a native village, a person who's living in a very orthodox, rigid society, and when he comes down to the cosmopolitan, modern society of Delhi, he sees, oh my God, this is wrong. So what he's going to do? He's going to behave like as stupid as a very orthodox person does. We have cups in Haryanas, which are generally against marriages of different castes and other things. Why? Basically because that is a third person customs. If you go down to Andaman Nicobar Island, you will also find that there are certain old traditions going on. If you go down to Nagaland and some places, you will find old traditions to go on. That is true because they are having it. But that does not specify that you have to what? That does not specify that you have to behave like this. that does specify that you have to behave rationally, you have to behave sensibly. So when you behave sensibly, you are a sensible person in between. So the same stimulus will create a different response for someone, and by the stimulus and response we will be able to identify the object. Object means the personality you are. So if your personality is good, if you're finding it's relevant, then the whole thing is going to change. So remember to express your thought process via the media of bridging the stimulus with the response. By taking the picture and writing a story, automatically the perception, the way you think of it, the way you visualize the problem, the way you respond, the way you solve, it all speaks of you. So please write freely the way you think and the way you think the society should run. Please don't go out of the world, talk something realistic, and that is how we are going to go about it. Is it clear? Thank you very much. Jai Hind.